So we're starting with the pie crust recipe. It uses 10 tablespoons of sugar, butter. You want to make sure you're using chilled butter, and you want to cut it into small pieces. This is 8 tablespoons. You need 10. So take a second one and just cut right through the paper. There's markings on here where the tablespoons are. And then please remember to put the rest of it back. Okay, well, we don't have whipping. Can you go put a note on my desk saying you need whipping cream? And then you're going to cut this into small pieces. Can someone come help me? Grab a knife. Thanks for volunteering. Come on over, Ariella. Help me cut this up. Grab a knife. Thanks. And we're just going to cut this into small pieces. Switch knives. Yeah. So cut. There you go. Cut like that first. We're going to put it in the bowl. And then we're going to add the flour. And I need 1.5 cups of flour. So when you're using flour, it's probably, can someone turn the video this way? Some brave person who's willing to do it. Thank you. When you use the flour, you really shouldn't be just dipping this in like that because it compacts down the flour. You're supposed to, like, we should keep one of these in each of the flour bins rather than having measuring cups in there. Get a nice level like this, and tap it down, and then use a butter knife. I don't have one on me, but use a butter knife like that, right? That's how you should measure your flour. So we need 1.5 cups of flour, so there's one. There's a half. And it didn't pack down quite well enough, so I need a tiny bit more. All right. And then it tells me to cut butter into 1/2-inch cubes, add the flour, sugar, and salt, which I don't have. How much sugar and salt do I need? You should all have recipes. Where's your recipe? How much sugar and salt do I need?
1/2 teaspoon.
Thank you. Of both?
Yep.
All right. Okay, so 1/2 teaspoon of salt. All right, I need to make sure I sprinkle this around so I don't get salty bites in my pie crust. Probably what's a better idea is to measure your sugar and salt and flour in a dry bowl first and then add it to your butter. Would have been a smarter idea. Then you're using a pastry blender. These are kept in the drawer over here. Please put them back there when you're done. Use a pastry cutter or fork, cut the flour into pieces about the size of peas. So I want to make sure I get that salt mixed in well. And then you're going to use this. Are you able to see inside this bowl at all? Can you tilt that down a little? Or you're going to use this and you're going to break up your flour and your butter. Anthony, can you move over here, please? Move over here, please. Thank you.
Which one?
Thanks, Tanis. All right, so you're going to use this. They're kind of sharp, so don't get cut. I don't know if you could or not, but they are kind of sharp. Just use your fingers to get the flour out of there. You can use the edge of it to kind of mix as well. And you're going to do this until you get it like the size of little peas. The butter. So just know you are being graded on the flakiness of your pastry and the flavor of your filling. And I can already tell you from period 6 yesterday that I gave away, that they got a 3 and the rest got 2s on their flakiness of their pastry. You Because if you overwork your pastry, you don't get a flaky crust. And so obviously they were all overworking their pastry.
Pastry, you want it to be flaky?
Yes, you do. You don't want it to be tough and hard like beef jerky, right? All right. That's as broken up as I'm going to get it right now because you're all standing around wanting to cook. Then it says, what's the next thing it says on there? Who's got a recipe?
Slowly add the water and make it under 2 at a time and mix together.
All right, how much water do I need? How much water do I need?
6 to 9 tablespoons of cold water.
Okay, so you're going to get a container like this. You're going to put cold water in it, and you're going to get ice from the ice machine so that this water is literally ice cold. Colder than it is outside. And it says start with a couple tablespoons. I'm going to start with about 5. Don't get the ice cubes in there. That was 3. Somebody wants to count while I'm talking so I don't miscount. 4. And then I'm going to, this is the part that matters when it comes to over mixing your dough. Once you start adding the water, that's when you need to be careful. And in fact, I should switch to a fork, which I have right here. So I'm going to try to mix it. It's going to need quite a bit more water than that. And don't just pour the water in one spot, kind of sprinkle it around. So that's 5. That's 6. Yesterday it actually took 10, or whenever I demoed this last, it actually took 10. Don't put in so much water that if the dough is sticking to your hands, you got it too wet. When it gets to a certain, there's still quite a bit of flour in it, like as opposed to like lumpy. So I'm still gonna add a little bit more water. So you might need more than 9. Is this my 8th? Is anybody counting? That was what? So that's 9 now? Candace, you should be over here. Yeah, can you wait and finish setting up those sinks after this? Thanks. Thanks for helping, Candace. All right, it's starting to get to that point, but there's still, so yeah, this recipe needs to be slightly adjusted because it's going more like, how many is this now, Naomi? No, that's more than 7. I think that's 9 or 10. Yeah, I think I just added at least 10. All right, so now I'm getting there. And then you're going to form it into 2 balls. Okay, it's taking quite a bit more. Like I said, you want it to be kind of crumbly and hard to manage. That's what makes a flaky pie crust. And if you end up with a tiny bit of flour down in the bottom that doesn't quite all get mixed in, then that's okay. All right, so after you do this, you make 2 balls. You're gonna put, yeah, this one still needs a little more flour. You're gonna put, wrap it in saran. You're supposed to chill it. What's the recipe say? So we already made our filling. How long does it say to chill it for? Doesn't say. So ideally, you chill your dough for a couple hours, which obviously we don't have. And your filling's already made. So you're gonna wrap it in saran. It's gonna sit in the refrigerator for like 10 minutes. That's all we have, unfortunately. So then you can get your bowl and stuff cleaned up. I know you haven't done much yet. I got a little piece of ice in there. I want ice in there. All right, so I got 2 balls like this. I can wrap them in saran and then put them in the refrigerator, or if you want, sometimes what I do is I put them in the freezer All right, so then after you do that, the next step is to roll out the dough.